All right. So, hello, everybody. Welcome to this edition of College for Free. I'm so glad you decided to join me today. I wanted to do this special video for my parents, my college bound parents who have kids who are high school seniors at this moment, meaning they're graduating in a matter of weeks. You all have received your financial aid packages or they're on their way. I've seen announcements of people excited about the fact that their child got admitted into their dream school and, all those types of things. But underneath the message, they also talked about now we got to figure out how to pay for it. Well, I get a lot of calls. I've gotten several calls. I've gotten some emails. I've gotten messages in my Facebook inbox as well. And everybody's asking the same question. My child is getting ready to go to college and I need help. How do I pay for it? What do I do? So I used to tell people jokingly, but seriously at the same time, I really love Jesus, but I'm not a miracle worker, because at this point in time, it's late in the game to start talking about how am I going to pay for it. This is something that should have been discussed, should have been strategized, should have been planned for years ago. Like when they were in middle school or in elementary school. So at this juncture, when your child is getting ready to graduate, there's not a whole lot that you can do. But what I decided to do was, let me put together a list. There are some things that can be done. It just may not be the outcome that you're looking for, but it will give you some type of results. So before we get into that, I'm going to just at least make sure, in case I have some folks who don't have graduating seniors online, I hope you guys have taken advantage of the different resources. Here are some of the books you can find on my collegeforfree.info website, or if you go to tamikawilliamson.com, you will find my books. And I'm so excited because I met with my business coach yesterday, and the College for Free University, it looks real nice. It's ready. So stay tuned to that. That information is coming very soon. So for my parents and my families who have not begun the process, or you're getting ready to begin the process because you still have time, you want to check out the College for Free University because it's coming. So everything I used to do with my one-on-one clients, with my families, that allowed them to garner millions of dollars in financial aid, that allowed them to sit peacefully right now because their kids are in college for free, I'm going to teach you those tricks of the trade in the College for Free University. So again, you want to stay tuned and look out for the announcement so that you can enroll and take advantage of that opportunity, because I'm going to coach you and walk you through that process step by step. The book gives you the foundation. You can read the book and it'll give you a lot of great information, other things that you can do on your own. But coupling this book with the College for Free University, you definitely have a winning ticket, because that's where I'm going to give you more personalized steps that's going to help you take what's in this book to a whole nother level. So if you want your child to go to college for free, I encourage you to check it out. So you all have joined me for a particular reason. What are these 16 strategies I said that I was going to share with you on how to get your child into a college this August? Now, I said into a college. I didn't say necessarily your college of choice, because we have to be realistic, you guys. I'll give you an example. I appreciate all my friends who tag me on posts and saying, hey, reach out to Tamika. Tamika can help you. But I'm not a miracle worker, you guys. So one particular post, I think it was Sunday, and the mother was so excited, and I was excited for her because it's great when your child can get accepted into schools like Spelman. Spelman is a very I'm getting tongue-tied. It's a very prestigious college. So when your child can get accepted into Spelman, that is a huge thing, because I know a lot of young ladies who get waitlisted. So her message was about, hey, I'm so excited. My daughter got into her dream school. She exemplifies and she embodies all the characteristics of a Spelmanite and all those great things. But now I got to figure out how to pay for it. And so somebody tagged me and was like, hey, reach out to Tamika. She can help you. And I'm like, I would love to help you, but at this point it's kind of tough. But I pulled some numbers, because I usually just give the whole roundabout numbers. But guys, schools like Spelman is not cheap. And I'm not going to get into that whole school selection thing, because you'll need to get into my College for Free University to get all those tidbits. But when you think about tuition, about $25,000, that's just tuition. Let's add on room and board. It's about $12,500 for room and board. Then you add on additional fees. I think it was about $3,500. Let's talk about books. $2,000. So you add all those things up, you're looking at about anywhere from, I think it was about $46,000 to $50,000 is what it's going to take to go to Spelman. This is April. School starts in August. Your child cannot start school unless that tuition bill is paid in full. So if anybody could come up with $50,000 between now and August, please contact me, because I would like to know what you did, how you did it, and let's see how we can monetize that strategy, because there are a lot of families who would love to find out of how you did it. Yes, hi Sia, thank you. I agree with you. She says, I feel sad for parents who are reaching out to me now. Absolutely. We're in the same boat. We do pretty much the same thing, and we both get these same calls, and it's like, why didn't you call me 4 years ago? 2 years ago, at least. It's hard, you guys, but here's some things to think about that you can do. So first and foremost, I had to write all this stuff down, because relying on my memory, I didn't want to miss anything. So I wanted to write down my notes of what I wanted to cover with you. So first strategy, consider financial aid that is associated with work. So what does that mean? Students need to look for job opportunities that's near or on campus that will allow them to earn money while they're in school, or the money they earn can go towards their education. Programs like AmeriCorps. AmeriCorps is a great program that they could potentially sign up for and earn some money that will go towards their college tuition. You also may want to look at ROTC programs. Many students don't think about ROTC programs. They think they had to do ROTC while they were in high school in order to sign up, and that is not the case. So ROTC programs is another way to garner additional funds for the fall to cover your child's tuition. So that's number one. Number two, parents should ask their employer's human resource office whether the employer offers employee tuition assistance to their dependents. Some companies not only offer tuition assistance to their employees, they also offer it to their dependents as well. And hopefully you guys ask the company, do you guys offer scholarships? Usually that would have happened by now, but if not, you may want to check it out, because you may be able to slide in before the deadline comes. A lot of companies offer scholarships. Thank you so much for capturing this for me, Sia. So that's number two. Number three, If the student's first choice college is too expensive, I just gave an example, on the net price basis, consider asking for deferred admissions for a year and or enrolling in a less expensive college. Now, I know a lot of my parents are like, I don't want to hear this. I want to be that great parent. Send my child to their dream school, because I've heard this. I had a mother in Houston years ago. She wanted to be the best parent for her only child, who wanted to come to Atlanta to go to his dream school and be a Morehouse man. So she took out all these parent loans to make his dream happen. Now, unfortunately, baby boy didn't do what he was supposed to do, y'all. He came to hot Atlanta, he got turned up. He started partying. And partying led to academic suspension. And him being on academic probation, he lost the little financial aid he did receive. Y'all, this is not a game. This is serious. It takes time. It takes preparation, and it takes planning. But you got to start the process early. So we may want to look at a less expensive school, or defer admissions for a year, put your child in a community college, work that year, but you got to come up with a serious strategy on how you're going to come up with the money once you do attend that college and university, because those prices I gave you earlier for Spelman, that's just 1 year. 1 year. So let's multiply that. Let's say $45,000. Let's multiply that by 4 years. How about 5? Because you know what? On average, kids are taking 5 years to graduate. So 45,000 times 5. Are you going to be able to collect that kind of money in 1 year? If you do, please reach out to me, because I got a lot of parents, and I know other people who do what I do, who would love to find out what you did so they can help more families. So we got to exercise some wisdom, you guys, in how we do this. I try to tell parents all the time, if you don't have enough money for year 1, you're not going to have enough money for years 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm not here to squash your dreams, because I believe in dreaming and dreaming big. But you also got to have a strategic plan to make that dream come to life. You also got to be realistic and exercise some wisdom. So we can't go into this process, because I hear this. You know what? We'll get through the first year. We'll figure it out the rest of the way. Hey, guys, that's not a smart decision. That's not a smart approach. Hope is not a strategy. Okay? Hope is not a strategy. You got to come up with a plan. So again, if your child's first choice is too expensive, hey, consider deferring admissions for a year, going to a community college, maybe for the first 2 years and then transferring in, or pick a cheaper school. Because you know what? As long as that school is accredited, hey, the degree is going to equal the same thing. The degree is going to equal the same thing. Because at the end of the day, all that matters is the school accredited? A lot of times what you're paying for that name. But your education, the quality of education, is going to be the same, and it can be the same. All right, so let me keep going, because I said 16, and you know I'm very passionate about this, and I can start preaching, and I don't want to start preaching, you guys. But nonetheless, number 4, look at how to cut college expenses. And you're like, okay, well, how in the world can we do this? Well, there are several things. You can have your child live at home. That's one way to cut expenses. If your child is going to school locally, have them live at home. You heard me just talk about with Spelman. Room and board by itself is about $12,500. If you don't have it, all right, let's shave that amount off. Let's look at where else we can cut. So look at how to cut college expenses. I believe in, my whole motto is trying to stay away from student loans. That is my goal. Stay away from student loans. But if you have to do it, you want to be, again, knowledgeable about the terms and the conditions of that loan, and exercise some wisdom, and know that if you need the loan year 1, you're going to more than likely need it for the remaining years as well. But you also can look at the school to see, do they offer some type of payment plan? You know, that may be some things that you can do as well. So cut college expenses as much as possible. Number 5, do some crowdsourcing. You know, we see all these GoFundMe advertisements and people raising funds for all kinds of things. Hey, crowdsource your family and your friends. Go tap into grandma, auntie, uncle, third cousin, fourth cousin. You know, go down the lineage. Hey, you having family reunion this summer? Man, hit up every family member. Can y'all all contribute to my college fund? $5, $20, whatever it takes. Tap into your family. Now, with that, you do have to be mindful from a financial aid perspective on how that money is received. So you need to find out, how will it impact your need-based financial aid? So that's a whole nother lesson, but it's something to consider because that money could decrease the amount of need-based aid you are getting. So you want to ask the school about how they capture and identify funds so that it doesn't decrease the amount that you thought you was already getting. All right, so crowdsource your family and friends. That's number 5. Number 6, throw yourself at the mercy of the financial aid office at that institution you're planning to go to. Guys, everything is about relationships. The world functions based off of relationships. It revolves around relationships. That's why one of the strategies I tell people to start cultivating relationships early in the game. Don't wait till the last minute. But you can throw yourself at the mercy of the financial aid department, because what happens is, you know, some students, when you get financial aid offer letters, there's typically an expiration date tied to it in terms of when you need to make a decision on whether or not you're going to accept it or whether or not you're going to decline it. And there are circumstances where monies can become available at the last minute. And if you have a good relationship with somebody who is knowledgeable of the money and the funds and the opportunities that comes through the university, they can keep you in mind. So you don't know unless you ask. Ask the question. But here's a caveat, because I tell students, what do you have to work with? You got to give them an incentive to want to give you some more money, because everybody wants more money. What makes you stand out? So the relationship piece can help further that conversation and make that opportunity become a reality. But if you have an ace in the hole, meaning strong academics, strong community service, leadership, you know, I talk about the 4 pillars of admissions. If you are strong in those areas, then they have something they can work with to justify giving you those funds. So keep that in mind. All they can do is say no, but a closed mouth never gets fed. I'm just saying. So number 7, you guys, consider an appeal. I spoke to a mother probably about a month or so ago. We was trying to help her come up with some options for her daughter to go to college. Unfortunately, she was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she's going through the process, the treatments, and as a result, her job let her go. Yes, very sad, very unfortunate. It's like, you know, but this is the environment that we live in, you guys. So what people don't know and understand is, because the financial aid process, when we start completing the FAFSA, that date has been moved up or moved back to the month of October instead of January. So with us submitting financial aid packages so early now in October, life happens, things can change. When those things change, you want to make sure you update your FAFSA. If you lose your job, anything that impacts your financial status from the time that you initially submitted that FAFSA, you want to make sure you update your information on the website and then go through the process to appeal the financial aid package, because the schools have the authority to make those adjustments. they can increase the aid that they give you based on the circumstances and, of course, based on whether or not they have the funds available. But again, closed mouth don't get fed. So, because if that is you, then you want to appeal your financial aid package as soon as possible. Timing is of the essence when we start talking about money, especially when we're talking about money as it relates to college. So, step number 8. I know the college-bound students is not going to like this one, but parents, hear me, please hear me. If you bought your child a new car, or you're planning to buy them a new car as their graduation gift, you may want to think twice about that. If you cannot afford to pay their tuition, why do they need a car? We may want to consider selling the car. That's what number 8 is. Sell the car. Because when you start thinking about car notes, insurance, maintenance, gas, they're in college. They're not making no money. Who's going to be footing that bill? Mom and Dad, you are. So why are we incurring additional costs when we can't pay the tuition bill? Which one is more important? Think about it. Which one is more important? So I didn't say y'all was going to like all these strategies. I'm just giving you things to think about on how to come up with that money, with those gaps in your financial aid. So think about it. Sell your stuff. Sell the car. Number 9, downgrade those college luxuries. You know, we want to give our kids the world. We want to give them more than what we had. Again, we've got to go back to exercising wisdom. So downgrade the college luxuries. You know, think about maybe your child don't need their own suite in college. You know, I've had some students, well, I'm just going to pay extra so that I can have my own room and I don't have to have a roommate. Well, that's more money. Or, you know, I want to be in the new dorm instead of the older dorms. Well, that new dorm is probably costing you more money. What is most important? So what are those extra luxuries you're paying for that is not adding any value? We may have to get creative with this. For example, some students took on nanny positions to pay for college. So what it allowed them to do was they became a live-in nanny for a family near their college and university. So they didn't have to incur the room and board costs and meal plan costs because that was given to them in return for them working for the family. So there are things we can do. It may make us a little uncomfortable. It may not be our desired outcome. But here's the thing. You got to do what you got to do until you get to do what you want to do. So I always ask families, how bad do you want it? It's all about making a sacrifice to get where you want to go. This is the cost of not planning and starting early in the process. But there are things that can be done. So step number 10, reevaluate your meal plans. You know, some schools offer different levels of meal plans. We don't have to go get the most expensive meal plan. You know, is your child really going to eat all that food on the campus? Hey, how often are they going to come home? Because if they're close to home, are they coming home every weekend? Because if they're coming home every weekend, we only need a meal plan that's going to cover them during the week and not on the weekends. And if there's a weekend they are in town, it still may be cheaper for us just to have some food in their dorm room for them during that time. So we can think about reevaluating the meal plans, how we snack. Hey, maybe go to the grocery store. It may be a lot cheaper. So weigh in those costs and seeing what makes sense. And it may even make sense to maybe live off campus. Sometimes living off campus can be, and splitting the bills can be cheaper than being on campus. So something else to think about. So step number 11, find cheaper credits. So you're probably like, find cheaper credits. What is that? Well, you pay, when you go to college, your credits are, you pay a per credit amount. And depending on the caliber of school you're going to pay a higher amount. So I talked about earlier going to a community college possibly as a strategy for a year or two before starting that 4-year institution. You can do that as well from a cost perspective because it allows you to pay for those basic core classes at a cheaper rate. So find cheaper credits. Or you could take advantage of programs like the CLEP program, College Level Examination Program, or the DSST program. They usually run somewhere about $100 or less. And this is where you basically can test out of certain classes and get college credit for it for a much cheaper rate. And the colleges and universities will accept that credit. So look for ways to find cheaper credits. Step number 12 is just find other ways to cut costs. You know, everybody's walking around with these cell phone plans, these unlimited data plans, and all this stuff. And I hear parents talking about, I'm paying my child's cell phone bill, and their bill is like $150 and $200. And I'm like, why does a child who don't work have a cell phone bill that high? I'm just trying to understand here. Family, we got to do better. Exercise wisdom. So, can we put our child on a technology diet? You know, do they really need a brand new laptop? Can we get a refurbished laptop? Do they need the newest, the latest, and the greatest cell phone? Do they need that expensive, large data plan? Can we decrease it? Because most schools offer Wi-Fi. So why not remove the data plan and allow them to just use the Wi-Fi at the university? So these are things to think about. When it comes to textbooks, hey, can they rent the textbooks instead of buying it? How much money can we save there? Especially when we start looking at digital textbooks. You know, a lot of schools are getting into digital textbooks. What about clothing? Do we have to go get the name brand, the top items? Can we go to these consignment shops? Can we go to, those different discount stores and get the same type of thing? Thrift stores. What are some things we can take advantage of through the library where we don't have to pay for it? Because a lot of libraries offered a lot of different services that could save us money as well. What about, when you're decorating, trying to decorate the room? Hey, can we go to the thrift store? Can we go to these other consignment and hey, anybody in the family, do they have something that you can just use or take from them to decorate your room where you don't have to go spend that money? So we got to think about what are those things we can cut? What are those things we can decrease where we don't have to spend a whole lot of money? The same thing comes with bills. If you're having your child pay bills, make sure they're paying their bills on time, because if they don't, then they're incurring a late fee. And that's extra money. So we got to look at how to not only cut costs, but how to make sure we're not incurring additional costs as well. So this kind of ties into one earlier. Look for work. Look for a job. They may have to work while going to school. Look for a job. Find something that works for their schedule, that works with what they're doing. If you're getting them a car, then maybe they need to start driving for Uber or Lyft and start making some money. So we got to think about that. Step number 14, I kind of mentioned this earlier with another step, but ask if the school has a payment plan. Some schools have payment plans. So you want to see, do they have a payment plan? Is it a payment plan you can manage? Okay? Don't start signing up for payment plans and you still can't meet the obligation, because when your child's tuition is not paid, they're going to kindly come and knock on the door and ask them to pack their stuff up and go home. And they're going to remove them out of the system. So don't sign yourself up for something you cannot handle. You can't afford, okay? All right. So that's step number 14. Step number 15, you guys. Start planning and applying for next year's aid. Because again, if you don't have the money and you're struggling year one, you're going to have the same situation in year two. So how can we start looking forward and start planning for the following year? Are there scholarships still out there that we can apply for? You know, people always ask me about scholarships, and I tell parents, look, the pool for scholarships is infinite when your child is in high school. Once they transition and become a college student, that number decreases very drastically. So this whole idea of we'll just apply for scholarships and use that as your only strategy to be able to potentially get money for college is not a good one. Because you and 10,000, 20,000 other people are applying for that same scholarship. So what's going to make your child stand out in a favorable way that gets them that money over those other 20,000 students? So the probability is not all that high. I didn't say it's impossible. I'm just saying it's not that high. We got to be realistic and, again, exercise wisdom. So start thinking about how you're going to pay for the following years so that you're not repeating the same steps and you're not in the same predicament again. And then step number 16, corporate programs. So you're like, what is that? So corporate programs is this. There are basically more than 10 million American families who are building up their college savings using different type of corporate programs like You Promise. You know, if you spend money here, you earn a certain percentage. It's kind of like cash rebate credit cards. You earn a certain percentage that you can use towards college. So you got You Promise, you have Baby Mint. You also have the Tuition Rewards Network. So you guys want to probably look up those programs. Tuition Rewards Network partners with 200 private colleges, and the monies that you raise and get through that program goes directly to those schools. You have, again, You Promise, you have Baby Mint, you have, what is it, me.com, I think it is, but that's more geared to people who are starting the process early and not here late in the game. And then, of course, like I mentioned earlier, pick another college. You just may have to not go to your dream school, or you look at how you can transfer into your dream school if they accept transfers, and come up with a strategy on how to maximize that opportunity. So as you guys can see, this is not a game. This is serious when we talk about sending our kids to college. So people look at, okay, you've helped people go to college for free, but guys, we didn't start this late in the game. We started early. We put a plan in place. We worked that plan. But now we're talking about, hey, the rubber has met the road. We got these financial aid packages, and they're saying I need to pay and come up with this amount of money, and I don't have it. So what do? Look at these 16, 17 strategies and think about what you can do, what you can start doing today. Because at the end of the day, how bad do you want it? But involve your child in it, because this is their process as well. They need to have some sweat equity in this process. So parents, you should not be working harder than your kids. I'm sorry. They need to be contributing to this process. All right. So I hope you have found this very helpful. And I hope that you get something out of this. Make sure you share this information with other families. We need to start sharing this information, because the student loan debt crisis is out of control, but we perish for a lack of knowledge. So we have to increase our knowledge base. We have to stop procrastinating, and we have to reprioritize what's most important when it comes to getting our kids ready for the next level. So I hope that, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Sia, thank you so much. I hope again you got some value out of this. So feel free to reach out. If you have not joined the College for Free group page, make sure you do that. We're looking forward to answering any questions and comments that you may have. I did post some scholarships on the College for Free page. So if you look up College for Free, there are some scholarships with the April deadlines, and I just posted with the May deadlines. And I remember seeing a scholarship in there for existing college students who had a gap. So gap basically means the amount of money that you have versus the amount of money you need. There's a gap. So there's a gap scholarship in there I hope you guys take advantage of it. Don't miss out on the deadlines. I know there's one scholarship I posted, the deadline is Monday. So get busy. There's not that many opportunities left for you to take advantage of before this school year ends. But again, it's how bad do you want it? So put in the work, make it happen, and go to college. Make something out of yourself, because college can be free. We just got to be willing to put in the work, plan for it, and make it happen. All right, so this is your College for Free coach, Tamika Williamson. It's been a pleasure being with you guys, and I will see you in my next edition. Again, don't forget, keep your eyes open for the College for Free University that will be coming out soon. And if you have not gotten copies of any of my books, I have several books. These are just 3. I don't have all of them in front of me, but you can find all the books on collegeforfree.info, or you can go to TamikaWilliamson.com as well. All right, I'm going to sign off. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for joining me.